Welcome into the Pillow Talk edition of Pugs and Parker, the second of two streams that I personally, Pugs Moran, doing all the heavy lifting around here. Two streams that I do each and every day. Join us at noon Central Standard Time for what we like to call High Noon. That is a rundown of all the topics that are trending, any current events, anything that's being discussed, hot topics, pop culture discussions, those kinds of things. What we don't do during that show is we don't do divisive politics. We don't talk about religion. We talk about dumb stuff. We talk about the kind of stuff that you can gauge people with and diffuse any potentially ugly situation that may be brewing, because that's what we exist in. We exist in a universe of just endless opportunities for ugly situations. Before I bring James Parker in here, I'm having a bit of an existential crisis, people. I discovered that I am not the genius that I think I am. I discovered within the last 20 minutes that I am not the Da Vinci of my day. I'm just not. I'll tell you why. But I got to tell you, I'm super upset about it. It's one of my, you know me, I'm Mr. $1 Million Ideas. One of my $1 million ideas is not only unique, but it's been done and it's failed, and it's been done again and it's failed again, and it's been done by hundreds of people all around the globe. And here I am sitting here thinking that I reinvented the wheel. So, existential crisis. My mother lied to me. I am not special. I am just pedestrian in every possible way. Let's bring James Parker in here because it is Pugs and Parker. James Parker joins us.
My mom said the same thing. Was she lying?
She was lying. Your mom was you know what? I don't know about you, but my mom's a big fat liar. She told me I was special. She told me I was brilliant. She told me I could do anything. And guess what? I can hardly do anything. And as it turns out, I'm not special at all. You know what happened, James?
No, I don't.
You know my cereal restaurant idea?
Oh, yeah, you've thrown this around. It's a horrible idea.
Oh, well, if it's a horrible idea, I would like to let you know that there are big investors who have already decided that it's a great idea. And no less an authority than branding icon Donnie Deutsch said it's one of the best ideas to come along in the last couple decades. The problem is he just wasn't talking about my idea. He was talking about somebody else who had the same idea as me. You know what? I can't. I don't. It's not a horrible idea. It's a wonderful idea. And
you're talking to the right guy. I can make you feel better in just a quick little bag of context.
Okay.
Do you know the name Elizabeth Holmes?
I do. She was going to reinvent the ability to test one's blood at home or something like that.
Right. And
she's
so
now awaiting sentencing.
So she was this beautiful Stanford graduate school dropout who came up with a new innovative process by which we can take a drop of blood. And she talks in like this really low phone sex operator voice. And
yeah, she's on the spectrum. She's on the spectrum. She's obviously somebody. God, continue.
Well, she's a con woman, it turned out. She had a great idea. She tried to assemble the people to make it happen. Turns out it's just not quite going to happen with the technology of the modern age. Maybe in Star Trek times we can just take a drop of blood and find out everything about you ever.
Right.
But look, and it's not a bad idea, and I can't blame her for doing that because
flying cars aren't a bad idea either. But it's just about, can we do it?
Well, there have been actually
good ideas.
There have been a ton of success stories in the tech world and in the medical world where they pitched an idea before they actually knew how to do it, and then they just assembled the right kind of people to make someone else's idea fly. Well, this just one is the technology wasn't there. It'd be like doing the flying machines, but not in Orville Wright's time, doing it like 50 years sooner. You just didn't have the technology. Pardon me?
It didn't exist. The technology
right.
Didn't exist.
So what should make you feel better? What should make you feel better is not that she failed or there's someone else who had a big idea and it turned out not to, go on its own. The point that you should remember is there's people who made tens of millions, hundreds of millions, maybe even billions of dollars, and they took some of that hard-earned money and they heard the idea that Elizabeth Holmes was pitching, and they were duped basically by her. They were unreasonably optimistic. unreasonably caught up in enthusiasm and emotion because there wasn't a shred of evidence this crap was ever going to work. Mm-hmm. And some of the smartest.
She had a nice resume. She was relatively attractive, and she had this crazy, odd weirdness that could have either been this person is batshit crazy or this person is the female Da Vinci. It was either way.
Or like an Elon Musk or a Stepford wife. You don't know which one you're talking to.
Exactly.
Okay, so the thing is it's not like LeBron James who made $1 billion because he's an incredible athlete, and it's not like a movie star who made it $100 million because he's incredibly handsome. Mm-hmm. These people that invested in Theranos made the money with their brain. They had an idea and they made it fly, and they assembled people, and that's the only way you can accumulate that kind of wealth. And
is that where you think investment capital comes from? They're all kids from this neighborhood who inherited generational wealth. You think they're all geniuses that sit on top of these big bags of money? Most of them are just rich kids trying to spend off grandpa's hard-earned idea. Come on, you're giving too much credit to the investor class.
That's a low level investment capitalist there. Not people that are putting $200 million in Theranos. They didn't get that from mom and dad. That's not a thing.
They got money from the Winklevosses. The Winklevosses put a lot of money in that, and that's exactly who they are. Precisely. But you're right. No, Silicon Valley, she became the cause celeb of Silicon Valley.
So some of the air quotes smartest and most accomplished and most experienced people, the very people whose lives and fortunes were built on being able to discern what is a good decision, what is a theoretical concept, and what is a possibility, they were all duped to the tune of billions of dollars by this lady. Yeah. And so the fact that your cereal bar, fell flat.
It's still alive. I look at the competition that existed and failed before me as proof of concept. That's how I see it. I've got better ideas. I mean, within the realm of the cereal bar idea. I want to discuss this because I want to show you I have found examples of what other people have. I've told you all of my crazy ideas that go into why mine will be good. I will show you actual photographic evidence of what other people have done. Some of it's great. You know what one guy did? Remember I told you it was going to be. First of all, I'm not even the only person. We can't get into it. We have a guest. We've got to bring a friend in today. We've got a friend that we're going to bring in. We've got a third here in our little menage talk. It is, of course, Dr. Robert Schwartz, Dallas's foremost plastic surgeon, coming to us live from, I don't know, his Frankenstein
My
lab?
house.
Where are you? You're there. You're there. Yeah. House. Schwartz, it's Parker. Parker Schwartz. You guys go way back.
Good to see you again.
What's up, Schwartz? How you doing, bud?
Any thoughts on the Elizabeth Holmes thing?
Yeah, so I was kind of coming in and out because it went on for a long time. So, but
Yikes.
If I'm hearing correctly, and I respectfully, I'm going to have to disagree. It sounds like what James is saying is that the cereal restaurant idea is a good idea, but we just don't have the technology to pull it off yet. It's not a technology.
Oh, I'm sorry. I did a real job explaining myself. It's a horrible.
I would argue that we do have the technology for cereal.
No. I'm going the other direction. It's a horrible idea with no chance for redemption, technological or otherwise.
And I'd like to ask you to back that up, but maybe
I need a cereal restaurant.
Look, I'll pitch you the idea. You're a very well-heeled physician here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Maybe you have some friends that we can dupe together into putting money into this. Who knows? I'm not thinking it's dead. I'm just, as I say, just because it exists already, just because it wasn't a truly unique and original thought on my part, that simply says to me proof of concept. It simply says that there are other people who believe in the madness. That's all.
Well, right. So, what is it, like 50 or 60% of businesses fail within the first year?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because they're started by idiots. You're no idiot.
Who don't have rich parents.
Right. You have, okay. You're no idiot.
Every strip mall in America is now littered with a shuttered vape store that some car dealer dad bought for their ne'er-do-well son that went out of business. You can't go in, you can't drive down the street without tripping over a vape store. So yes, you're right. Idiots fail.
I say never give up on this idea.
Never. I won't. I've got this one.
Different kinds of milk.
I've got he gets it. He gets it. Banana milk, strawberry milk, chocolate milk. You can
Oat milk, whatever.
Okay. Yeah, we can
Goat
offer
milk.
that. We can
Yeah,
offer that. Fine. If there's someone gonna come and want goat milk. But Schwartz, all right, so I'll give you the quick rundown pitch. Okay, here's what I'm looking at.
Okay.
You know how Froyo allows you to mix and match stuff? That's what you do. You walk down like a cafeteria thing. You got 3 different kinds of bowls. You got the big giant big boy bowl that we remember how when you have cereal on a Saturday morning, the bowls that mom had, they just weren't cutting it, so you'd use like a pot and you'd fill your
salad bowl.
a salad bowl, whatever. Okay, so you move down, you
that.
buy the bowl, you move down, you get a little Captain Crunch, you get a little Cocoa Pebbles, you do a little strawberry in there, then you get to the fruit section. Then when you can add some strawberries, you add some banana. Then you get to the milk section. It's like, what do I want to do? Do I want to top this off with some banana milk? Is that going to be too much? Maybe some regular milk? And then like a Froyo, you weigh it. And whatever.
What about like fruits and things to put on top?
That's what I said. Would you listen? You get to the whole fruit part where you got granola, strawberries, you got bananas. Oh yeah, man. Fruit's gonna be a big mover, and it's gonna weigh down the thing. So that's gonna be our profit center where we get the fruit. We're gonna encourage people to add fruit to their cereal, and then all of the waitresses, they're all gonna be wearing pajamas, with little footy pajamas. They'll all be walking around. I don't want tables. I want shag carpeting, although it was pointed out to me that the milk will spill in the shag, and that would be a cleaning problem, and that's pretty smart. But I want people sitting on the floor, just like maybe they were when they were a kid. And
maybe a bean bag or something.
Yeah, sure. We can
Zenith television set.
Absolutely. Schwartzy, old-time televisions everywhere showing nothing but cartoons. That's all.
My little sister having to change the channels.
No, you can't change the channel. If I got Bugs
stuck
Bunny
on
over
DuckTales
here, and Rick and Morty over here, and Animaniacs over here, I've done it because I've looked at the room and I've decided this. It's like I'm DJing the cartoons. Nobody gets to change the channel. That's up to me. Anyway, I don't want to go up and down on this whole thing, but as it turns out, one of the competitors who did not fail, who is still open, they do the pajama thing, and I have to believe that they stole that from me because I've been saying that for 2 decades now that I wanted to do this with pajamas. So I'm thinking the pajamas thing was stolen from me. But you know what one place did? One of these cereal bars did that I thought was so cute. I mean, what a cute idea. They don't have bean bags or shag carpeting or sit on the floor the way we wanted. And I'm including you people now as people who are supporting this. They have everybody sits in a little school desk. Like, remember those little kids' school desks?
Okay.
Where it's like the desk and the chair are connected and you just slide in. That was so cute. I'm like, now, okay, I should partner with that guy. That guy knows what he's doing.
Would this be cereal manufacturer independent, or are you going to be in the pocket of Big Grain?
I don't know. I see that's a problem. I imagine there'll be long drawn out legal battles between me and General Mills. Kellogg's.
One of the big
put into Michigan. Go ahead.
So there's some intellectual property issues you might have, because if you're going to be offering Captain Crunch, you can't say Captain Crunch unless you go get the license from, is that General Mills or whoever that is?
Yeah, absolutely.
So you would have to have a licensing agreement with General Mills to use their and to advertise with their properties, or you could do what my college cafeteria did and just have something that looks a lot like Captain Crunch, but that ain't Captain Crunch.
Go buy this stuff at Walmart in the big bags.
Yeah, and there's like a Lucky Charms, but it wasn't the same charms and it wasn't the same oats. It was called like Serendipitous Trinkets or something.
I am open to cross promotional opportunities with big cereal. That's not a deal killer for me. That's fine. If they have very colorful, decorative boxes, I would be more than happy. And I will also point out in some of the pictures, if we have time, that we'll go through of some of these existing cereal places. Some of them have done that. Some of them are decorative.
Over in the comments, Bob just got here. Should we start over? We should probably start over. Bob, just got here.
Bob, sorry. We're gonna.
What have I been missing?
Yeah.
Let's just start
here's
over.
The beautiful thing about watching on YouTube. I believe you can just back up. I believe
he's on Twitch.
Oh, okay. All right. Hey, James, you want to do a little monologue? Is that what we're all about here tonight? We're going to do a monologue?
Yeah, we can do a monologue.
You got a monologue? Did you send me a script?
I did send you a script. So
you did send me a script.
Let me do that little thing where I time warp over here into
all right. Well, here
1971 or something.
Still have it on.
What are you doing?
Hold on.
It's absurdly low, sir.
It is. All right, now it's... Man, I've been having a problem with the volume on this. Resend me this stuff. I don't know what happened. Over time. All right, everybody, welcome into the 1%er comfort nest high above the palatial estate in Highland Park, Texas. It is...
Is it palatial?
It's all right. The Guest House Lounge presenting comedy every night, and we bring in a global sensation, the man of 1,000 voices. He is the one, the only, James Aloysius Parker. Welcome. Okay, that's low.
There's no applause. Unacceptable, crowd.
Oh my God.
I'm not going to do my jokes if I don't have my crowd.
Okay. Hold on. No, you got it. We'll see. We'll see how it works. Go ahead. Hit me.
All right. Russian civil rights groups report that President Putin's enemies are being tortured in dungeons right now. Prisoners are being beaten, shocked, and they also they're forced to watch The View. See, that's way too low. Unacceptable crowd. I know.
I don't know.
Do you have like under your settings? Do you have like noise cancellation or whatever it is on? Echo cancellation and noise suppression. Do you have any of that going on under your settings, audio?
Yeah, sure, James. Now is the time to go through that. Probably no. Just go ahead. Roll through it. Come on, let's go. That is weird. It has been getting progressively lower every single night, James.
All right. In Spain, this guy named Saturnino de la Fuente, he was the world's oldest man. He passed away at 112 years old. And I don't want to be like superstitious or anything, but it seems like that title's cursed.
What the?
Jesus. No, don't do that. That makes it not funny. I hate that.
That's all I got right now.
Oh, this is awful then. There was 0.4 of a second of applause. I'll take it. That was
all right, continue. Come on, roll through it, man.
Oh, shut up. In a new interview, Jamie Lynn Spears says she's always felt like an afterthought growing up in Britney's shadow. And then the interviewer said, great, now let's talk about Britney. Jeez. All right, according to a new survey. Oh, God.
What is so loud? Go ahead.
According to a new survey, online dating is now responsible for 22% of marriages. It's also responsible for 40% of divorces.
I'm abandoning the sound effects. I don't know what's happening. And besides, all right, continue. Come on, keep it rolling, baby. Keep it rolling. Come on.
Can I just quit?
No.
Okay.
No.
Scientists at the University of Pennsylvania have discovered the difference between male and female brains. They were doing some new study, and it turns out women's brains are in their heads. So it's not the same, dude. This sucks. You're ruining. Oh, yeah. Boo me.
Is that a little louder?
No, I think they're booing Mew over there.
Yeah, they are.
All right. Happy birthday to the bassist of Foreigner. His name's Jeff Pilson. I don't know if y'all even care, but I don't want to say he's getting old, but he and the band have a new song called Feels Like the First Walk-In Bathtub. Instead of Feels Like the First Time, feels like the first because he's old. All right, damn. And finally, get out the finally.
He's too loud. Okay.
And finally, happy birthday to ABC News chief correspondent Jonathan Carl. If you want to send him a gift, he's registered at Hacks Fifth Avenue. Worst monologue ever.
I have no idea.
Bob, I'm sorry you had to see that. That was the worst monologue we've ever done.
That was not good. I don't know what's happening with the sound effects. Why are they getting progressively lower? Everything is... Not going to let it ruin. Not going to let it ruin my night. Not going to let it.
You don't have a button you can push?
Is there, I don't know, James. Is there a button I can push? There are lots of buttons, but any one of them could end the world as we know it. This show could be knocked off the air. I don't know what I'm doing here. All right, everything is set at 6. I have no idea which one of these controls.
Screw it now. It's over. Why? You already tanked my segment, dude.
It is over.
Fine, you killed it.
I'm sorry. All right, so that's not going to make the best of tape.
All right, autopsy later.
Wow, that's it? That's all you're into tonight? How about we do a little moment of joy? Now, why am I so hot? Why am I? Okay, now that's better. Am I better? Was I coming in hot, James?
No, you were fine.
I was fine. So it's just my headphones that were hot. All right, so what is this? This is the microphone. That's right. These are the headphones. That just sounds bad. All right. So anybody who pays attention to this show, the Pillow Talk edition, you know that I have one thing that I hate more than anything else in the world. Schwartz, do you have a guess on what it is that I hate more than anything else in the world?
Adequate volume.
Well, that's quickly rising in my chart. That is quickly rising. But no, I hate squirrels. James, you know this. I got a problem with squirrels. Squirrels can just suck. I can't. Squirrels, I was attacked by a squirrel. Actually, I wasn't attacked by a squirrel. It was worse than that. I was on a bike behind a kid who was riding under a tree, and I watched a squirrel jump from the tree, land on his head, and maul him. And I have never liked squirrels since then. So today's moment of joy is a little squirrel being an asshole. Okay, here we go. Look at this. Have you seen this yet? It's been going viral. Look at this squirrel. See the squirrel there? Look at that little intruder just hanging out on the ladies' porch.
Y'all ain't gonna tell me squirrels don't understand us.
It look evil as fuck.
Yeah, they do.
I'm terrified. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Look at me.
Yes, you bitch.
Y'all ain't gonna.
All right, there you go. There's another woman who, just like me,
yes, you bitch.
that's the squirrel. She said, "You look evil as," and then the squirrel went, "Me." Squirrels get it, man. Squirrels are. Schwartz, got any good?
I didn't know this about you, but I don't like them. They're not in my top even 100 of things I hate. But you take away their tails, no one would let them live.
They are fancy rats. That's what they are. They are rats in mink coats. That's
but
what they're
so cute. He's right. It's all about the tail. If it wasn't for the tail, they would just be a big fat rat. They would be like a huge gerbil.
I disagree that they're cute. I think that they are. I think that they're dirty vermin.
Have you ever heard them bark? You ever heard a squirrel barking?
I've heard them make noise. I've heard them. When they attacked my friend Chris King, they made a wicked noise. It was awful. It was blood curdling.
It sounds like one of those electric knives that you carve a turkey with, like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They ain't good.
So what happened to your friend? Did he get through this, or
it tore his head off and he bled out on the sidewalk?
No, he was bleeding. No, really? You want to know what happened to Chris King? His mom reacted, and he had to go to the emergency room because he had blood. And she's like, "You need stitches." He didn't need stitches; it was just scratches. But
did they actually have to remove the squirrel in the emergency room?
No, the squirrel ran off.
Oh.
The squirrel just ran off, and I wasn't chasing it. I wasn't wanting anything to do with that thing. That it was the crate. I mean, I can picture it so vividly. We are riding down the street, and there's a tree up there, and he rides his bike innocently underneath the tree, and then just this monstrous rat jumps from a branch, landing right. First, what was the squirrel doing? What the squirrels aren't supposed to do that. They aren't supposed to. And it landed on his head. He completely wrecked the bike. He's laying on the ground screaming. It was traumatic for him, I'm sure, but I watched it. I witnessed the entire thing. And so now every time I see a squirrel, I'm like, I know what you're capable of. I've seen it. I've seen your dirty work.
Yeah, don't give me that cute routine.
So he had to get rabies and stuff like that. He had to go get like a whole bunch of
20 shots, isn't it?
Yeah.
Did you go to the ER with him?
Hell no.
Did anyone look into like if there was a particular brand of like shampoo or cream rinse he was using?
No, that's true. I don't know.
Because some of them are like nut based.
He did have very long 1978 hippie hair, so
Yeah,
it could be a selling point. Yeah, suave. It keeps your hair softer, more manageable. Keeps away the squirrels. All
right, we got Schwartz with us tonight because I was talking with Schwartz earlier today. How you feeling? You just got
feeling great. Feeling great. This was easily the best COVID I've ever had.
Scale of 1 to 10? Yeah.
I can't. If you're going to get a variant, Omicron is the way to go. It is so much better than the other one.
He believes he is a connoisseur of the fine art of COVID.
I'm the only person in my peer group that I know of that has collected the full set.
Got them all.
I got all the badges on the sash. I'm going to be an Eagle COVID.
I had the Delta variant. It was more of an after dinner COVID.
Yeah. Yes, a light sort of coffee flavored.
I think it's a decent COVID, but I think Delta's at this point like an overlooked, forgotten COVID. It's like I don't know, like the band Love. A good one, but just forgotten at this point.
But now we've got the super inbred COVID, which is the flu COVID. It's the mixture of the flu and the COVID. Here, wait a second. I found there's something. This is you'll enjoy this. Hold on, let me see if I can find it for you real quickly. Talk amongst yourselves, you kids.
I heard someone got Ghana COVID. I don't know how you get that one.
They got what?
Ghana COVID. It's another one of these mixtures of two diseases. It's
Yeah, that sounds like something some husband told his wife.
right.
Yeah, COVID.
Well,
He told me to fill, man.
I must have gotten a bad booster, baby.
No, I got the
Ghana
good booster.
COVID.
Yeah,
I'm an idiot. Okay.
This is a funny girl. This is a funny girl on Twitter who I like to follow. She's demonstrating all the different COVIDs. Here, hold on.
I'm Holly.
Here, we'll start this over.
I'm Janice. I'm Holly. I'm Norma.
Okay, obviously that's a play on the old side.
Yeah. Saturday Night Live. Yeah.
That's funny though. The new one is that flu one, the last one that she did, where she was like, that's like a combo
With the baby hand.
Well, you're a doctor, Schwartz. What do you know about this new fluoro COVID or whatever they're calling it? It's a hybrid of the flu and the.
Yeah, I'm not that kind of doctor.
You're not that kind. If it doesn't,
I do breast implants.
Yeah, if it doesn't affect the boobs, it's really not in your purview.
Is it important?
They didn't have COVID when I was in med school, so I'm not required. It's not on the test for me.
Okay. All right. So the reason that I thought it would be fun to bring Schwartz in to join us here, James, you got anything you want to start with? Because
I kind of There's two updates to what we've already talked about earlier this week. I would like to hear Robert Schwartz's thoughts on the mail order bride Ukrainian situation, and also I saw another story, Pugs, where a spouse murdered the other spouse. And the way this dude tried to get away with it, he almost pulled it off. He took her on a hunting safari in Zambia. And it wasn't like this was a whole setup. They had been on like several hunting safaris before. And so then he just turned around one day in the jungle and said, "Gotcha, bitch," and shot her in the chest. And then went and had her cremated real quick. Yeah. And so
you can do that in Zambia.
Yeah. Look, he would have got away with it too, except for the guy at the mortuary. Some Zambian dude, he'd never seen a white American pass through there before. And he's like, "I'm okay if I just burn this carcass up. Shouldn't I like get word from the cops or something?" And so he literally took a picture of it with his phone. And just in case, he sent it to the consulate. And they're like, "Well, we're glad you did this. Can you not burn that body?" And so some people from the consulate went out there and investigated. And he's going down for murder. He just went down for murder.
Probably for the best,
So, do I have this straight? This was his plan. I'm going to go on multiple safaris with my wife over the years, so it doesn't seem strange that we go on a safari. Then I'm going to go on a safari, and she's going to die on safari because she was shot in the chest, and that won't be suspicious.
I don't think the genesis of the first safaris was part of the long-term plan to kill his wife. He just worked it in their existing safari habit.
It seems like it's a lot of work to shoot your wife in the chest. You might as well just go into the living room, shoot her in the chest, and roll the dice if you're going to do this.
He established precedent. It is a long play. It is.
Yeah, I don't see how this was going to work.
So
we're basically counting on the fact that in Zambia it's okay to shoot your wife in the chest.
No. It all. Look, I think it almost worked. If he could have just slid the dude at the crematorium a few more bucks, he very well may have gotten away with it. But
I feel like you probably could have pulled that off in like Abilene, maybe. I don't really see what the point of going to Zambia is. If your plan is you're going to bribe a mortician to overlook the giant rifle hole in your wife's chest, the rest of it really doesn't matter. The whole prelude.
No, but there's still going to be
doesn't matter.
There's going to be the question, like, well, how did she die? Oh, it was a hunting accident. Oh, you were hunting in Abilene? No, you were hunting on safari, like we've done 4 other times.
Yeah,
it's
just
more
likely
a really
flawed plan.
And it's also
I'd see maybe like waiting until you're close to some big game prey and spraying her with bouillon or something.
Ooh, I like that.
I could see that would pass, right? Oh, the lion attacked her and ate her.
Or like the urine of a female in heat or something.
Yeah, something. Yeah, so yeah.
wander
something
out.
along those lines. But just once you're going to shoot her in the chest,
No, Bob,
it's going
it
to look
makes sense.
suspicious.
I know it makes sense though, but if you're hunting in Texas, people can go to the scene and they can do their own little forensics and maybe dig something up. If you did it in Zambia, there's a lot fewer people who are just going to on a hobby go over there because people were checking out the Gabby Patino scene and you go through the Google Maps, and that's how Home Skillet got busted. You go over to Zambia, they don't even have Google yet.
James makes a great point. You can't kill anybody in America anymore because YouTube is just filled
not to dwell on this though,
these real crime investigators.
Why not just shoot her in the chest and leave her there to be eaten by animals? And when they go, hey, how come your wife didn't come back with you? And then you just go, what wife?
That's she said she dropped her key.
I think it's a risky move unless you've got the coroner in on this from the get-go, just to count on the fact that he's going to go, okay, yeah, we'll burn her.
That's the lesson here is you got to dispose of the body in a different manner.
No body, no safari, no murder.
Right. Okay, so a little bit of the backstory though. Remember the guy that was getting the mail order brides was a retired dentist. Guess what this guy is, Pugs? A dentist. And so he's been married to this chick for 30 years, but he's been having an affair since at least 2011 with the office manager of his dentist office.
Dentists are the weirdest of doctors. Now maybe Schwartz has a different take on this, having spent more time around doctors. But first of all, the scariest of doctors are chiropractors because I don't really even consider them doctors, but they do. They like to pretend like they are.
I know. Why don't you just get a voodoo doll while you're at it? Yeah.
But then dentists are like so close to being respected like real doctors, but they're just not quite there. They're just, they're very everybody's got they're not a specialist. Like we hold a specialist in a higher place because we almost never need them, and when we do need them, we really need them. A dentist is somebody we go to all the time. And, a lot of people don't like the dentist and it hurts and it's weird poking around in your mouth. So dentists just from jump are the weirdest of doctors, in my opinion, in my life experience.
Do real doctors frown on dentists? Like, you're not a real doctor.
Yeah, Schwartz does. Those would you surgeons.
Okay, well, let me say that I get, referrals from chiropractors, but I don't really get them from dentists. So it's on.
Okay. Badmouth the chiropractic and industry.
I just want to make sure I'm understanding this, because I got to tell you, at my end, the volume is not that high, and so I might miss a little bit. So he had a mail order bride, married for a long time, and was having an affair with his office manager?
No. We were talking about a dentist yesterday that had a mail order bride, and it was along the pattern with, man, dentists are messed up. No, he has a wife who he's been with for 30 years. And he doesn't want to divorce her because he'll lose half his crap. And then he's been having an affair with the office manager since at least 2011.
And this is a news story? A dentist having an affair with his office manager?
Well, not until he kills his wife in Zambia.
How much do you have to look forward to going into the office on a given day? I mean, I say spot him yourself.
Hey, Schwartz, just in the future, should you do this again, get yourself some headphones. Just pop
I could do that right now.
Go pop some headphones in, and the volume issue will be solved.
Okay,
you'll be able to hear everything.
Don't look at me as I walk away, though.
No, it's looking at your beautiful cascading stairway there in the background, which is. You know what? I'm gonna go refill my water. James, entertain them for a while. Do your thing. We'll be right back.
Can I get a drink too?
I can't hear you.
Oh yeah, he can't hear me. Do y'all mind if I go get a drink, or do y'all want me to just make something up for 2 minutes? Ooh, Byron, that's a good idea on the lie. Is my wife still in here? Because if she's going to kill me, we might as well help her and get her to do it right. All right, Pugs. Look at Byron's idea of how to get rid of a body. 75 pounds of lye, heated to 300 degrees, can dissolve a 200-pound person in 2 hours. That sounds very Breaking Bad. They didn't have to heat anything up on Breaking Bad, though. They just had like the right kind of acid. Wasn't it like hydrochloric acid or sulfuric, or what was it?
I didn't know this side of Byron back when I knew Byron. I did not know that he was such a connoisseur in the arts of body disposal.
All right, now I'm going to get a drink. Buttholes.
Yeah, go get your drink. Go get your whatever. I just got some water. All right. Schwartz, can you hear? But now your mic is off. Now we can't hear you. Now we can't hear you. That's the issue. Nah, can't hear you. At this point, I would think that maybe you struggling to hear the rest of us is not a terrible thing. Because, all right. How about now? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Nod if you can hear me. Say something. Count to 10. Yeah, no. Yeah, you're not coming through. Sorry, folks. We'll get started in a second. We do have very interesting things to discuss. What'd you do? You popped in headphones and now you can't hear it. Now we can't hear you. You got to say something. Just count so that we can see if you're... Yeah, it's not working. All right, so here's what we are going to do. This is what we're going to try and do. Nod along if you can hear me. Can you hear me? Okay. So here's what we're going to do on your end. You are going to disconnect. I'm going to send you another... Say something. Is that you or is that James?
Yeah, okay, good.
Oh, you're back. Okay, what did you do?
I am?
Yeah, you're back. You're back. Now I hear you fine.
Oh, all right. I don't know what I did.
All right. So, but you're having difficulty hearing us. It's not loud enough.
Yeah, a little bit, but I can fake it.
You got some speakers, just plug a little speaker thing in. It'll make it better.
Yeah, I'm on an iPad, so there's nothing I can't do. I can't do that.
That's all right.
Yeah.
A running theme on this show, Dr. Bob, and it's an organic theme. It's not something that we prep for, but it seems to be a lot of discussion of murdering your spouse and how to acquire a new one. Last night, for example, we spent a good hour scrolling through Russian and Ukrainian mail order brides, thinking that some of them may want to be escaping that war-torn part of the world at this moment, and there may be an opportunity for a swarthy young single man like myself. James, I'm explaining to Schwartz how a running theme on this show is murdering your wife and how to get away with it, and how to acquire a new one via the Russian mail order bride services.
Important topics we cover here, Schwartz.
Yes.
I got to say, I'm not sure I fully understand the whole concept behind this, right? I get, okay, so you have a wife, things are maybe not going as well as you'd like, so you resort to murder. Okay, I'm with you here. Okay, so you've gone through this murder, and now you're saying you've succeeded with the murder, right? How much time has gone by at this point that you feel like you're in the clear?
2 weeks.
2 weeks?
No, he
clear at 2 weeks.
He killed her in 2018.
Can we say give it a year? Can we say a year's gone by?
I think that's the classy way to handle it. Sure.
Okay, I just think it's respectful, and I also think I'm going to feel more comfortable with the rest of this if a year has gone by.
Less questions from neighbors.
Yeah, I think in a year, I don't know, statute of limitations, maybe. I don't know. So you're at a year now. Okay, you've had a bad marriage. You've killed your wife. You've apparently succeeded at this, right?
Yeah.
Okay, here's where you lose me.
That's the
Why
easy
am I
part,
getting another wife?
Have you seen some of these Russian mail order brides?
Yeah, and?
Well, he's a plastic surgeon.
He's a hopeless romantic.
Why am I signing up for someone I may have to try and murder again?
The issue is that they're from Russia. They will probably murder you at some point. So you're right. There's a flaw there. But we were just exploring the whole idea of the mail order system yesterday. And
this is a flaw in that you've purchased a good or service. I'm not trying to denigrate marriage or anything, but let's look at it that way, okay?
Or the mail order industry.
Send it back through some sort of elaborate struggle, right? Because this product didn't work out for you. Why are you buying this product again?
Like you're saying, if Kennedy had survived, it'd be like him going out and buying a 30-06.
Right. It's like, it would be like him driving
it's the same thing, Bugs.
Plaza every day for the rest of his life, wearing a Target hat. Why would you do this?
Can we at least all agree that in this scenario that we've painting, murdering the wife is probably the easy part? It's the getting away with it.
No, I don't think it is actually.
Pulling that trigger.
I think it's actually easier to get a mail order bride than to successfully murder your wife.
Not while you're married, it isn't.
I have a guilty conscience
No,
about
I'm not saying maybe the will is there. I'm just saying, and I'm not saying it's necessarily that hard to do. I'm saying I think it's hard in this day and age to get away with it. Yes. Anyone who's ever watched anything on Netflix knows the first suspect is the husband.
Exactly. I believe it was Debabo3 who pointed that out earlier. He's going through a divorce.
Yeah, I think you've got a huge presumption of guilt in this. I think you're better off killing someone else's wife who you don't know. You're more likely to get away with that. Like the Alfred Hitchcock movie, Strangers on a Train. Maybe you trade off on this.
Is that a website? Is that a social network? Husbands who want their wives killed, who can then I'll kill your wife in New Jersey, you kill my wife in Ohio, and no one will ever link us together.
Hitters or something like that. You match with other husbands.
It's a screenplay at the very least. It may not be a workable idea, but yeah.
No, I'm just saying, I think you're really underestimating the difficulty in successfully really killing anyone, especially someone you're close to.
Yeah.
And I'm saying also, someone needs to say this. It's wrong. It's wrong to do that.
It is. And I'm glad you said it.
It's
and
bold.
We certainly do not advocate the murder of anyone that you are in a relationship with or anything like this. Is not what we're saying. What we are saying is we are fascinated.
I think I've already staked out the position of the moral conscience of this episode.
Right.
So don't pile on now. It's a little late.
So look, I can go in the other direction because this guy actually had a little bit more of incentive than just, who can help what the heart wants. He also, over the course of the last couple of years since he got back stateside, started cashing in life insurance policies. And it turned out over the years, he had accumulated 7 life insurance policies on his wife. And they totaled it was $4.8 million that he had gotten out of these policies at the last point. And that was actually one of the charges that was thrown in there was insurance fraud.
It's like that Murdoch guy in South Carolina, the lawyer nuts that everybody killed and took out insurance policies on his. Are you familiar with the Alex Murdaugh case in South Carolina, Schwartz?
I'm not, but I think I am now. I think I get the gist.
Big legacy, politically connected attorney family in South Carolina. Like his family goes all the way back to the founding of the state. Big, important people. Over the course of 10 years, it now appears that he's killed multiple people. He just coincidentally, I'll give you my favorite. He took out a life insurance policy on his housekeeper and then pushed her down the stairs. She slipped and fell.
There was a banana peel up there, I guess, Bob. Right. I don't know.
Hey, kids, dead. He killed a bunch of people.
Yeah. Again, let me state my general objection to murdering people. But if you're going to do it, you're really pressing your luck if you take out insurance policies on them before you kill them.
I think so.
You're asking to get caught. You really are. Don't do that.
I think it's important to keep the red flags to a minimum.
It's you don't want to get convicted of first-degree murder and insurance fraud. Then you're really going to be a long time getting out.
All right, let me switch topics here. The reason we brought Schwartz on is because he and I had an interesting conversation. All of our conversations are generally interesting. And James, because you are like the old man in the shoe with 15 kids, I wanted to ask you how you would answer this question. And I'm not even sure how it came up between Schwartz. Oh, it came up because he was talking about his son and I was talking about my son, and we were basically just cracking on both of our kids. And the question came up, and I'll ask you, James, you have a bunch of kids. If you were in school, if you were a contemporary of any of your children, if you were a classmate of your children, would you be friends with them or would they hate you? Or would you? So answer me that, because you've got a number of kids. You may have some that you think you would be friends with, and you have others that you might bully. How would that break down for you? If you were in school with your kids, if you lived in the same neighborhood growing up as your kids, would you be on the ins or the outs of their social circle?
Oh, no, I would absolutely be friends with them. But my high school, my middle school, my elementary school wasn't big enough to be partitioned up into classes, and I don't mean classes like grades. I mean like the jocks and the nerds and whatever Ali Sheedy was and Molly Ringwald and, Emilio Estevez, like the Breakfast Club. you were just, everybody was everything, because the guy that played quarterback was also on the basketball team, and he was probably also in the
There
band.
was one jock, one nerd, one.
Yeah, there wasn't enough dust to go around, right? So I did theater, and I did academic decathlon, and I did soccer, and I did football, and you just have your hand in all those things. So when I see my kids, and they're also in like almost identical situation I was in, just a middle-sized school out in the middle of nowhere, and they're not a thing. They're very much a hybrid of about 4 different things. And there's just not a whole lot of bullying that can go on in a society that small.
Okay, so
So
your frame of
it's tough for
reference is
me.
limited because you went to school in like a double wide trailer with 3 other kids. That was
Yeah,
as
well,
much as
there's also
you are from rural Texas, not a
right
very big metropolitan area like Schwartz, who's from the suburbs of Montreal or is it
Montreal,
Toronto?
right?
Yeah, the rough suburbs of Montreal.
The rough suburbs of
The
Montreal.
mean streets of Montreal.
And I'm from
The mean streets of the projects of Montreal.
I'm from the small rural neighborhoods of the south side of Chicago. So yeah, we did not have that experience. I had a lot of kids. Schwartz, how about you? Let's stick with your oldest, because I think that's where we jumped off on this conversation. Could you be friends with if you were in school, if you were in class, if you were sitting next to your son, and obviously you're not his father, you're just a contemporary of his, you're a classmate.
Right.
How would that go down?
Okay, well, okay, so I'll give you just a little background. So yeah, I grew up in a big city, but I went to like a small parochial school. There were 80 kids in my class, and I didn't really know this at the time, but pretty much everyone in my class was kind of a pussy. So, but even among that crowd,
Canada, right?
What?
That's Canada, right?
Well, it's not just, it's my school. So just the kind of kids that were there, just, we were all, but even in that, limited crowd of pussiness, I stood out as kind of more of a pussy than average. And, so I would have wanted to be friends with my son, who's way cooler at this age than I ever remotely was. But in reality, I doubt he would have been friends with me. And frankly, he and some of his friends probably would have light bullied me.
light bullied.
Which really, when I realized this, it was kind of a hard thought to take, really. But I would understand it.
Now, I only have the one, and I know he's at it. James, how old is your oldest, James?
11.
11. Okay, so my oldest is 12. So, we're pretty much in the same area. We are lucky, as Schwartz might point out. He is a veteran. He has a veteran of raising a child. The boy we were just talking about is in college. And so he has seen the transition. At this point, my 12-year-old and me, we're like thick as thieves. We're like best buddies. I think that if we went to school together, we'd be best friends because we still have the same sense of humor. We like the same things. That might change. Schwartz has warned me that it will, and I'm anticipating these changes. But I think that me and my son, if we were just classmates growing up together, I think that we would be friends. I think that we would have a lot in common.
Yeah, I have. That's how I feel about my kids, especially my boys, because they are very different. One of them is like kind of into the books. He reads a lot. He plays musical instruments, plural. And he does a lot of like sciencey stuff. He builds things, and if you give him a puzzle, he'll put that together in like 2 hours. And then Atticus likes to break stuff. So it's kind of like two sides of me, right?
Yeah.
But we can all 3 come together because it's like the intricate kind of me that has feelings, and then there's like the brute animal me, and then we all go in the backyard, and then we can spend like 2 hours just burning stuff, and that's really stupid, but we all can kind of get on the same wavelength and be like, isn't this fun? That's so big. Oh, that really hurt. You're gonna singe off your eyebrows. Oh, I think you ruined your jacket. Mom's gonna kill us. Grab that box, right? So there we have the moments of camaraderie to where until the description from Schwartz is whatever trips and we're not cool anymore, then I'll really know. But I don't think I can know now because we're all just buddies.
Yeah, I'm still 12, 11, 10. That's where the kid is, he's still...
So when does the kids not like us anymore, Bob?
Well, let me say this.
Did your kid ever like you?
Being hypothetical about me in high school and him in high school. And, I'm just thinking that my son is too cool and my daughters are too good looking to have wanted to hang around with me as I was in high school.
Okay.
I'm just basing this off of my historical information about me, about how I was in high school and what kind of dudes wanted to pal around with me, and the complete lack of girls who would speak to me then.
You were more in the
So,
Dungeons and Dragons crowd than,
no, we didn't have
going
anything
to make out
advanced and
party
cool
crowd.
like that.
No, really. Are you comfortable discussing some of the other stuff we discussed about your son's class load, which I thought was a very interesting conversation?
Oh.
Well, if you're not, I understand.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let me set it up for you. So
Go ahead.
Schwartz and I are talking about, like, how's the boy? He's up there. OU? Is that where he is? He's at OU or OSU? Okay, so he's at OU. He's up at OU. And Schwartz's kid says to him, "Hey, Dad, we should, for people listening, Schwartz is an Ivy League educated Yale undergrad, who then went on to his UCLA School of Medicine surgery. So we're talking, he's a surgeon. So he graduated from an Ivy League school, and then he went on to UCLA, which is one of the most prestigious surgical institutions there is. And his son is at OU. And his son said what to you regarding his class load this semester?
Okay, so this past week was his last week of break, because apparently Christmas in Oklahoma is like 6 weeks long. So, so he's going back in a few days, and we're sitting having dinner, and he goes, "Dad, look, there's something I need to tell you." And I'm like, "Yeah." And he goes, "You should just know in advance not to expect too much of my grades this semester."
In advance.
And I'm like, "Well, not that I was, but why?" And he goes, "Well, with the courses that I'm taking, it would be pretty much impossible to expect A's."
Impossible.
And I'm like, okay, I can spot when I'm being preconditioned for, disappointment. And I go, so what are these courses that you're taking, right? Because I was pretty sure he's not, about to take chemical engineering and linear algebra. So he goes, "Well, let me think if I can remember." And I go, "Yeah, rack your brain, see if you come up with the courses you're taking." He goes, "Okay, I'm taking accounting."
Oh,
I
no.
go,
Oh, boy.
So it's impossible to get an A in accounting at OU, is what you're telling me.
A freshman level course.
I understand how hard it is.
Mastering the
I go,
general
"Yeah, I
ledger."
think I do, because I took accounting as a sophomore." And he goes, "Yeah, but that was a long time ago." I'm like, "Yeah, I don't think it's changed all that much since then. I don't think there have been like a whole lot of advances in the accounting technologies.
They've updated QuickBooks. Yeah.
Pretty much everyone who's
They've made it easier.
Who can,
if anything, they've made accounting easier with,
well, I think there's computers. It's like just software now. So, and so I've taken accounting, boy. And he goes, "Well, you took it a long time ago, and it's changed a lot." And I go, "But here's the thing you're forgetting in this is that who does accounting and does it well?" He goes, "No." I go, "Every accountant in the world." I go, "And I don't know how to break this to you. Some of them not that bright. So, but do go on." And then he lists, let's see. He said microeconomics, and I go, "Yeah." And he goes, "Dad, that's not macroeconomics. It's micro. It's a very different, and it's a lot harder." And I'm like, again, I took that. And he goes, "Yeah, but you didn't take it at OU."
Yeah, because that's what they're known for.
No, that's true. I took it at Yale. I think it was probably at least as hard. I'm pretty sure,
Dude, how often do you just drop that trump card on him? How often do you drop the trump card on him? I took it at Yale.
I will spit out every chance I get.
Do it.
Really, most of the Yale stuff has proved useless over time, but in terms of overriding my kids, it's great.
Yeah.
Well, and this conversation is one of the few times it actually totally applies.
Totally.
With no caveats. He's like, "Well, this is at OU." Yeah, well, I took it at Yale.
Basically, there's like first semester calculus, and he goes, you don't. That's pretty hard." I go, "Yeah, you do recall that I was a physics major, right?" So I actually went past first semester calculus. But so I basically what I've been told is he's getting B's, and there's a very strong reason why, and just not to be upset about it when it happens.
Okay, well, B's are acceptable in my, I'm a Shanty Irish family, so B's get you a pizza party. B's are more than acceptable where I'm from. But then again, we don't have any Ivy Leaguers.
Yeah, I would prefer that he shoot for the A's at least, not just go into it with the preset on the B's.
Yeah, we shoot for the passing grade. Although luckily my kid is really smart. Honor roll, don't you know? Honor roll, National Honor Society. We're very proud of him. That comes from his mom, not from
I
nice
appreciate
time to rub
him.
that in. Thanks.
I appreciate him negotiating the expectations game. Because even though that we're having this conversation, we're reinforcing the fact that expectations are low. So if he does roll in with like an A and a few B's, we'll be like, good job.
What I appreciate is the school.
No.
I appreciate the inflated school pride that he has as a proud Sooner, that he believes that Oklahoma University is one of the most difficult universities in the entire United States. And you, father, the Ivy League grad, you could not possibly understand what it's like to take
and
these
Norman.
Norman.
No, I don't think I don't appreciate all of my kids repeatedly crapping all over that like Connecticut community college I went to.
Yeah, right.
Like I'm told over and over again that I'm told Dad, you don't know how hard how hard algebra is. And I'm like, yeah, I actually do. And then I get told that no, it's harder now than when you took it. I don't think algebra's changed in the last 30 years.
Not since the days of the Egyptians. Yeah, not since they built the pyramids has algebra changed.
Like there's no one getting, no one's getting Nobel Prizes for new advancements in algebra.
Oh my God. All right, that's very funny. It sounds like you have a wonderful relationship with your son. But he grew up one of the, if we did a reality show, the Sons of Dallas, he had the high profile media surgeon father. He grew up a very nice, not overly privileged, but certainly a nice, comfortable existence. And, he doesn't have that doesn't appear or sound like
I would totally take any of my kids' childhood over mine.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
We can all I would sign up for being my child any day of the week.
Yeah, not a bad job, right? I'm guessing that your child, unlike me, didn't drive a continuous domino effect of piece of shit cars until I was like 23, 24 years old, right? Your kid's first car was probably safe. It probably looked good, probably better than anything my single mom drove. Meanwhile, I'm driving around in a car that you need a screwdriver under the hood to get started, right? I mean, that was my childhood. You gotta get the screwdriver out of the glove box and pop the hood. We want to start the car. And you gotta jam it into the starter.
None of my kids have a driver's license.
You know what? I would say that I am shocked by this, but do you know that is a thing now? That is a lot of kids.
Not uncommon.
It is driver's ed school. James, are you familiar with this? I mean, maybe.
My sister's kid turned 16. They're like, yeah, I guess I'll go get my license. Dude, I started the class when I was 14 because you could finish it when you were 15. And the end of it was right after my birthday. So I got that piece of paper and I was doing the learner's permit. And then seriously, the day after I turned 16, we went and got the full license.
I was traumatized.
Oh, I got my license the morning I turned 16. My son is 19. He doesn't have a license. He's never had a car. Now, on the day he turned 16, though he had not gotten his license or done anything, he was upset with me for not having a car waiting for him.
Was he now?
Which I had to live with, myself, with, that feeling of failure. But I got past it.
Did he expect the Cayenne in the driveway with the red bow?
Right.
Even though he doesn't want his license?
No, it's sort of settled down over the years, and he's given me all the specifications on the loaded Raptor that he needs.
Oh, very nice.
Oh, he does a lot of hauling, and he needs to pick up. He hauls a lot of stuff.
He does a lot of driving through Baja. A lot of that stuff.
A lot of helping friends move in his future.
Yeah, so
sounds like
construction sites.
And so I patiently explained numerous times, never going to happen. I go, there's no there's no world in which, no matter how much money I have, I would ever get you an expensive car for your first car. I don't know what your first car would be. I can tell you, you won't like it.
Can I
But
interest you
he's
in
never
something
gotten
in
a
a
driver's
Camry?
license. And my 17-year-old daughter
Corolla.
doesn't have a driver's license either.
See, that's my kid is 12 years old. Maybe it'll be the same for him 4 years when he starts to think about his driver. My son already knows he has his car. He's like, he knows exactly the car. He wants a 72 Chevy Camaro, and he knows what color he wants it to be. It's actually pretty. I'm like, Detroit muscle. Okay, I can totally approve of that. I like that. You ain't getting it, but it's a totally cool thing for you to be shooting for right now. So he already has a dream car, but why do you think it is, Schwartz? What has happened in the last 20, 30 years of teen that kids do not feel the same way about acquiring a driver's license and the freedom that driving actually provided us? What happened?
Well, I don't know. I think he has a number of friends who drive who never seem unwilling just to come get him. They don't. It's not as big a deal because there's more stuff that they just do online with each other, so they don't have to go anywhere. And plus, he Ubers and charges it to my credit card, no matter how many times I tell him not to Uber and charge it to my credit card.
That's what I thought would be the primary reason. The whole.
Yeah, it's just it doesn't limit you anymore, really. So I don't know. I'm like, I don't push it because I'm not that excited to get him a car, and I'm not that excited at the prospect of my teenagers driving. I don't think they're better or worse than him, but I remember how I was as like, a 17-year-old.
And in college,
I was an idiot.
He's in college. He's going to be.
Yeah, so
he's be party,
I'm not going to push him to do it. Eventually, he will, but if he's not doing it, I prefer that he, trick me to pay for the Ubers, and he go in an Uber than he drive.
James, what do you think?
Well, I see my kids not drifting toward that. Like my sister's kids kind of did it, but he has his license and he got a card. He got it pretty quick. He just didn't get it the day of, and he wasn't super excited about it. And it took him like a month or so before he, actually went and did the paperwork. But for my kids, they were kind of fascinated because I've just spun all these yarns about growing up on the farm, which for them sounds like a whole different universe. And so I was telling them one time, I learned how to drive at age 9 because on the farm, no one cares how old you are. As long as you're not going out on a public road, as long as you can reach the pedals, you can drive. So when you're going to pick up hay in the back pasture, the parents can have you drive while they actually put the hay in the hay trailer. So there's one less hand we need to pay. So that's when I started driving. They're like, wait a second. If you started driving at 9, I'm 9. Does that mean I can drive on the farm? I'm like, sure. So next time we go out there, we'll drive. And so now my kids have been taking driving lessons that they're 9, 10, and 11, or 8, 10, and 11 now. And the youngest one is 6. So 3 of them are already driving. 3 of them get to play around in the back pasture in my truck.
In fairness, James, you were also operating the family still at 13. So, there were responsibilities.
Churning butter. Yeah.
Yes, you were bootlegging out there in Tyler County or wherever it was. My son has been driving. I shouldn't say this.
Oh, you're fine. You're in safe space. My son's
been driving since 10. 10 years old is when I started to move the seat up in a big, giant abandoned parking lot. And I let him, get the feel of it. And certainly never on a road or on a street or anything. But there was an abandoned mall out by our house, and we went out there. And it was after. I shouldn't. Was this
Valley View?
It was no. This is the Lincoln Mall in
Chicago.
In Chicago, on the south side of Chicago, and it had just snowed. And I wanted to show him, and Schwartz, this, a Canadian, I wanted to show him how much fun driving in new fallen snow in an empty parking lot could be.
Oh, yeah.
So we're doing donuts, and we're spinning around in circles and, all that fun stuff. And he goes, can I try? And I go, here's what you can do. He goes, you can sit in the seat. We'll move it up because this is the gas. This is the brake. If I tell you to stop, you release both your foot from, down there. Just pick your foot up and I'll take over. Because I didn't want it. And he did really good. He was really, serious about it. And he gripped the wheel. And first thing he did, and we got into a debate about this. He doesn't understand why you don't drive with 2 feet. You know, I mean,
Yep.
I'm like, that makes sense. But I think it's best that you just use one so that you never confuse the brake and the gas. You know what I mean? You panic and you hit both and then something happens. So yeah, starting at 10 o'clock, my son has some working knowledge of how a vehicle works. Unlike me, who the first time I got behind a driver's ed car and I popped it into drive, I was shocked that the car began to move. I thought it was like a go-kart. I thought
that was the first time you drove. Was it driver's ed?
first
That's
time
a
I
bad
drove.
idea.
Yeah. Well, you know, that's what driver's ed is for, as I understand it. You know, you're not supposed to have driven before driver's ed. But I popped it into drive and the car started to move and it freaked me out because I wasn't hitting the gas. You know, I wasn't, my experience had been with go-karts. And, you know, you hit the gas and it moves. If you don't hit the gas, it doesn't move. That's how I thought it worked. So my kid now understands that at least. And he did get to do one donut. I said you should be able to do one donut in the snow. So let's try that. And yeah, so it's been a couple of years now. Not since I've moved back here have we done that, because there just doesn't seem to be. Well, you know, the streets of Highland Park are not the place to have a kid learning how to drive. People drive like maniacs through here. This is insane.
Yeah, my dad took me to drive in the snow when I was like 13 one time. But I figured once he had done that, that was my go ahead. And so after that, when my parents were out, I would take the other car and go to my friends' houses at 13. And I would just, because I figure if I could do it in the snow, I could do it in the not snow.
Man, that's a cool kid move. I thought you were a nerd. That is a cool kid move.
Pugs, you never stole your parents' car?
I said I was a nerd and a pussy, but I also was pretty clever. Okay. And so I did this for years and I never got caught. I was extremely careful. I measured, like before I moved the seat, because I was tiny, right? My dad had a Lincoln and I could barely see over the steering wheel. But I would measure exactly how far the seat was from the pedals before I moved it up for me. So when I took it home, I could move it back to the exact same spot so I wouldn't notice that the seat was moved. I would even check before I started driving where the last two digits on the odometer were. And I would make sure that I would go around the block or whatever I needed to do so it would end up on the last two digits the same again. So in case he was paying attention to this or suspicious, he probably wouldn't have noticed past the last two digits or wouldn't have trusted his memory. So I did all these things to be super careful. And I told him that I was doing this. I was in my 30s in plastic surgery residence when I told him. He still wanted to ground me and was furious. It ruined an entire party at my house. Yeah. But he never knew until I was in my 30s that I did this repeatedly.
I used to have parties, not big parties, but small get-togethers when mom was out. That's the worst thing that I probably did, you know, underage drinking. James, I told you about the fake ID business that I set up.
Oh, yeah, where you had the whole wall painted like a Illinois driver's license.
Yeah,
and then you just take your picture standing in front of him. Did he show you that one, Schwartz?
Yeah, Schwartz. I don't know if I've ever told you.
No, but it's amazing what would work for a fake ID then.
Right. He had the wall with like the state symbol of Illinois, and then like the background was like right here, and then you would just stand in front of it.
We take a picture.
Yeah.
And we stole one kid stole a laminating machine.
Kind of low res.
No.
All licenses were low res. They didn't have HD back in the day.
Yeah.
We're talking about what, 19?
Fake ID was just a license that I found on the ground in Montreal because there were no pictures on it. It was just a piece of paper then.
No.
Oh, wait. Hey, don't you speak French? Speaking of, when we're talking about parental stuff, don't you speak French, Bob?
I did. I mean, I could still sort of understand. But
does your wife?
No, she didn't grow up there.
Oh, okay. Never mind then. Because me and my wife kind of halfway speak Spanish. My wife's a lot better than I do, but just because our mom has half of their family that's all Hispanic. Both of us, it's just a coincidence. And instead of teaching it to our kids, what we've done is we use it to speak about our kids right in front of their face so they don't understand what we're saying. It's completely useful. I love it. The wife loves it. I highly recommend it for anyone else doing it. But when I moved to New Orleans, I found out that the French language is dying off in Cajun country because that's what all the Cajuns did to their kids. They would speak French to each other so the kids wouldn't notice. And I can't tell you how useful that is and how much it comes into play and how often it comes into play. Like, hey, did you remember to bring your Christmas gift, or did you get her something for her birthday, or did you do the tooth fairy last night, or just simple things like that. And I was just wondering, maybe you had a chance to do the same. But
no, actually, what happened in my house? So my ex-wife is Chinese, right, and spoke pretty fluent Mandarin. And she put my kids in Mandarin classes for, because, when kids are like preschoolers, there's nothing they like better than extra Chinese school. So,
yeah, my kids were asking for that. I told them no. Yeah.
So they could all speak, some degree of Mandarin. And so the four of them would talk about me in front of me in Mandarin, and I couldn't understand.
Damn. That's got to be a bad feeling.
Sure.
Yeah, especially since you could tell by the facial expressions what kind of wow.
That's my fake. Here, we'll get it really close. That's my fake Wisconsin ID. That now
Nice.
what that background is, what you're seeing there, is I had a friend who was an artist, and I had a white wall, and he came in with stencils and stickers, and he created that background on the wall. And then you would just stand in front of the red box on the wall. We would take the picture and look at this. Here.
So the whole ID is the painting on your wall?
Yes.
That's life-sized.
It's stupid, but it worked. Like,
oh
brilliant.
My God, that's fantastic.
These were the best IDs. Circular. Look, Tom Beller. He said, I've used the same ID. Yeah, Tom Beller got one. He was at one of those parties, or at least he acquired one. And I want to say we charged I don't know, we could have charged $100, but I think we ended up charging like $10 or something. And people would come over, and in one room, people would be sitting around playing beer games. And then when their turn was up, they'd go into my bedroom, and they would stand in front of the wall, take the picture. We had a laminating machine. We had everything. It was an absolutely brilliant idea. Now, I don't know if you can see the name. Can you read the name?
No.
Okay. So here was the one issue, because we couldn't be changed. We couldn't just give you any name. So my name is Chris P. Peterson. Okay. Chris Peterson was decided upon because it could be for girls too. You could have Chris Peterson. You could be Peter Chris. You could be Peter Chrisson. You could be, you could be Peter Chrisman, whatever you wanted to do. We just felt that Chris Peterson was a good name that you could move around so that, when you and 5 of your friends walk into the bar with the same ID, you don't have the same name. But it's all, bouncers weren't that bright then. And of course, it had to have been out of state.
Who could pick up on variations on a theme might notice.
It had to have been out of state. That was the other thing, because one of the kids who was behind, one of my co-conspirators, if we were taken in, had learned that legally, if we were caught in Illinois using a fake Illinois driver's license, it was a much larger charge than an out-of-state one. So we went with the state that was, just to the north of us. And it would be reasonable, especially if we're going out in downtown Chicago at, 17, 18 years old. It would be reasonable that people come down from Wisconsin all the time to, party in the Chicago bars and stuff. So, I still got this. I'm always going to keep it. I love it. And, that's the worst thing that I ever did. The worst thing that I was ever involved in.
You should be very proud of that, though. That's pretty cool.
The best thing you ever did.
It's the most actually, no, you know what was even better than that, and my friends still tell stories about this. I'm not an intellectual guy by any stretch of the imagination, but I do have that same clever bent that you described in yourself earlier. One of the things that I did for a couple of years in a row over Christmas time, all throughout high school, there was a mall. And the mall had anchor stores. There was a Sears, a JCPenney's, a Marshall Fields, a Carson Peary Scott, right? So big, giant anchor stores that hired over the Christmas holidays what was known as a flying staff. They just hired anybody, right? And what you would do is, if you worked at Sears, you would show up for your shift and you'd be in a conference room, and then all of the managers of the different departments would go, I need 2 people for men's, you and you, men's, go. I need 2 people for athletic shoes, you 2, go. It was like that. It was chaos. What I figured out very early on is that I could get a job at all the 4 stores in the mall. And I could just show up. And I had 4 different badges. I had a badge that said Sears, a badge that said JCPenney, a badge that said... So I would show up I would clock in. I would get chosen to go to a department. I would walk right through the department, walk into the mall, change my badge, show up at the other place and go, sorry, I'm late. Where do you need me? They would direct me somewhere, clocking in at all these places, all 4 stores. And then I'd just go hang out at my friend's house for a few hours until the shift was over. And then I come out and clock out at all 4 stores. I was making paychecks left and right. I did this for like 4 years in a row. It was beautiful. I'm very proud of that.
Wow.
Why did you give up this job?
I got caught. I got caught, and it was rather embarrassing. And so I was like, all right. A security guy caught me. He's like, hey, what do you come with me? And then they're like, do you work here? And I'm like, on paper, yeah.
I work everywhere, yeah.
I
work
everywhere. Yeah. But I thought that was pretty clever. I worked at all 4 stores at the same time and collected a paycheck I did this for a couple of years. Started my sophomore year, and I got, it ended when I was in college. It ended like my last year. It was great. It was a great source for Christmas money.
You would be working at multiple stores, but actually present at none?
None of them. Yeah, because they can't keep track of all of the Christmas help that they hire. They don't know. They're busy. It's nuts. You could just disappear. You clock in, you disappear. You go to another store, you clock in. I mean, it's easy.
They didn't have cameras every 30 feet either.
They did, but they didn't care. It was like, this was not, now everything is tracked. I assume. Back then it was the 80s. It was the 80s and the early 90s. It was just, and I was just in a sea of people. And luckily, the dress code for all 4 department stores was the same. Khaki pants and a button-up shirt. The only thing that distinguished you was the badge that you wore. And then they all said seasonal help. So I had a pocket full of badges. And as I'd walk through the mall, I'd just change out the badge and walk into the next store.
I got to say, I think the real genius in this was actually not going to any of them.
Oh, of course.
Because a lot of people would have done that and gone to one or maybe gone back and forth between them. But the visionary that you are is that you realized, hey, if I'm ripping off 3 employers, it makes no sense not to rip off the 4th.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what's the point?
Well, you're also setting yourself up to get caught, because if you keep showing up at one job, they're going to be like, hey, where's that Pugs guy?
Let me tell you about something else that I did that actually pumped this up. I had my buddy Mike, who lived within walking distance from the mall. So a lot of times he would be home. So I just go over to his house and we'd watch MTV for 4 hours or whatever. But there were other occasions where JCPenney in particular, throughout the Christmas season, they were trying to sign people up for Visa cards, for credit cards, or whatever, with JCPenney cards. And the way that they would entice you to sign up was that they would give you free movie passes to the theater that was in the mall. So I would, while I was working, if Mike wasn't available and I needed to kill some time because I knew I had to be back there in a few hours, I would sign up for a credit card and I would get the free movie pass and I'd go right to the movie theater. And I'd sit and I'd watch a movie. That movie would end. I'd have a couple more hours on the clock. So I'd walk into another theater. Cause we all used to do that back then. You could spend an entire day at the movie theater, just going from theater to theater. Oh man, I'm telling you, I should be so much more successful than I am. The promise that I showed at 17 years old was incalculable. It was,
you should be running your own crew now.
I should be doing something. Yeah. I shouldn't be doing this. That's for sure. All right, let's wrap it up. This has been a nice little Pillow Talk edition. Schwartz, it was wonderful having you here.
My pleasure.
Parker, it's good as always to have you here. It is the Pugs and Parker show, so it's important to have you as well. Schwartz, anytime you want to do this again, you just let us know. We do this every night at 9 o'clock. If you're ever bored,
I'd be delighted. I'm usually not doing anything at 9 o'clock. So
all right. Should also make mention that you and I are scheming on something else that we've been working on for a couple months now. So we'll have more on that when there's time to talk about it. So it's possible you might be seeing a little bit more of the good Dr. Schwartz. All right. Thank you, boys. There he goes. Everybody say
later,
Dr. Schwartz. And there goes James Parker. You guys can just sign off any way you want. And that's going to do it, folks. I want you to join me at noon tomorrow for the High Noon edition. That's just me. It's not as fun as this. It's not a bunch of people just talking around. We do on High Noon Central Time, 12 noon every day, Monday through Friday. We run down all the hot topics, all the trending topics, anything that's happening in the world. We try and get y'all prepped up for that. So I'll see you back here. Same bat channel, same bat time, not the same time. I don't know what I'm talking about. Tomorrow at noon. I already said that. Tomorrow at noon. Like, subscribe, do whatever you can. Also, as we always say, we can, the show exists because you people are kind enough to help support it. If you can support the show, that's always an option. There it is right there. We have a Venmo, we have a PayPal, we have a Cash App. We got it all. Anything that you might need to help this show continue. And so many of you do such a great job of that. So I do appreciate that as well. And also, if you can't, if you can't tip the show, if you can't tip your bartender, which you got to tip, right? You got to tip your bartenders. If you can't do that, share the show. When you see it coming around on your social platforms, whatever it is, just forward it, just share it, just send it out there. Help spread the word, like everything associated with the show. There's an option. You see the video come around promoting that the show is coming. Click like. It's literally the least you can do. It is the least you can do. Move your thumb and just go, okay, this is how I'm going to show the support. Because it's not just those of you out there who are generous and who can actually, afford to help out the show monetarily. It's about those of you who also hang out here with us every day and every night. And there's so many of you, and I'm so appreciative. But you can do that as well. You can help in that way. All the little things help as we try and build whatever it is that we're trying to do here. All right. Oh, you know what? I totally forgot. I almost didn't play our closing theme song. Why is the internet so slow right now? It's like it's not working. All right, here we go. A little John Hinckley for you. A little Never Ending Quest, the official theme song of the Pugs and Company show. The nighttime pillow talk Pugs and Parker edition. Be strong. Sing along, everybody. I don't think I've ever listened to the lyrics to this. I think on some upcoming show, we're going to have to break down the lyrics of John Hinckley and figure out exactly what he's getting into. Okay, bye everybody. Gotta run. Gotta run. He is on a never-ending. Another day. The best is yet to come. Whoa, whoa. I like DeBob 03 walking the line and heading to the bed. I'll try to tune in more. I appreciate that. He is on a never-ending. Tomorrow is another day. The best is yet to come. Fa-la-la, fa-la-la. Different way, so baffling to some. Whoa, whoa. I can smile a little now. Things are going good. I always had to be on. Jeff Glenn, you want me to mix it up? I feel like I feel like the Never Ending Quest is like the perfect closing theme for this show. But if you want, I'll tell you what. For you, Jeff Glenn, I will mix it up in the future. You have a request. You're requesting John Hinckley's "The Places I've Been." It's understood. It's understood. Comfort nest. He is on a never-ending quest.